What's up, you guys? It's Kyra and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I will be doing a review on the brand new Covergirl full spectrum collection. And I'm excited about this because you guys know, first of all, that I love finding and trying out new drugstore products. But I'm also excited because this line here in particular was created for multicultural women, or, you know, women of color. So it came in this huge box, you guys. This box is so big. And in the box, it looks like this, okay? So, So basically what they did is they kind of broke it down into like different sections. So you have your eyes, your lips, and your face. So for the eyes, we have this little container here. And it says, okay, so the note says, no ashy hiders, chalky eyeshadows, or too light lipsticks in sight. The new full spectrum Covergirl collection brings out your truest tones with velvety matte concealers and foundations to choose from, as well as high pigment eyeshadows, lipsticks, and blushes that will pop against any skin tone. Essentially, the line is supposed to be, again, of course, created for women of color. And I guess that they have really worked on altering the pigments, the shades, the tones, all of that to complement our skin tone. You know how sometimes some brands, like the shades, just don't look right on our skin tones. So hopefully this line here does us justice. Okay, so for the eyes, this is the full spectrum Covergirl defining moment all day eyeliner in the shade deep blue. Okay, we also have the same liner in the shade gold metallic, in the shade silver metallic, deep purple, and just black. Black is black. So you guys see that one thing I do like about this is that this line is encouraging us to play in color, which I'm excited about because you guys see this lime green, this purple, like, you know, we'll see how it looks on our skin tone again, but I'm excited about trying it out and testing it out because it's supposed to be for us. A couple eyeshadow palettes. So this is the first one. It's the full spectrum Covergirl palette in the shade Zodiac. Okay, so this one is the full spectrum Covergirl palette in the shade Posh. This one is the same palette, not the same palette, but the full spectrum Covergirl palette in the shade Reverence. And then lastly, we have the same palette here in the shade Gravity. Just gonna swatch some of them. So here's the blue shade. Oh, not too bad. Okay, here's the green shade. Not too bad at all. To me, just swatching them, they feel more on the velvety side, which I like because it's not, they aren't coming off super powdery. You see? Like, they're not really powdery. Last one, I'll just do this brown one here. Okay, so there are those three from the Gravity palette. Honestly, just by first impressions, it looks pretty good. I do like that in these more neutral palettes, well, in the colorful ones, not so much so, because in the colorful ones, you don't really see many matte shades, which I don't like. And this one here in the Gravity palette, there's 1, 2, 3 matte. And in this one here, the Zodiac one, there are no matte shades. So just be aware of that. Here in this Posh one, there's 1, 2, oh no, there's only 2. Okay, so this one has 2 matte shades. And the Reverence one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you kind of mix and match, play around with them. The shadow palettes, the price of them will range from $9.96 to $13.49. Okay, and then the liners, the price range will range from $6.92 to $9.49. So here is the lips section. So it looks like we have some satin lipsticks, some lip glosses, and some lipsticks. We have these 3 here, okay? And these are called the Full Spectrum Covergirl Matte Idol Lipsticks. This is a shade Fortune. It's a really pretty deep vampy shade. Here's the shade Ace. And here is the shade Tyrant. So Tyrant is obviously a really pretty bright red. Ooh, that applied really easily. Okay, so there's the shade Ace. And in my opinion, these actually kind of feel more on the satin side. Like, they're not your traditional or typical liquid lipsticks. Okay, so those are the 3 liquid matte lipsticks. Okay, so then we have 3 lip glosses, and I assume that these 3 glosses are supposed to coordinate with these 3 liquid lipsticks. So first up, we have the shade Nuance, which is just a red lip gloss, and it does have some metallic specks in it. That's really pigmented, wow. So there's Nuance, the gloss. Okay, and then we have the shade Believe Me, a really pretty lilac. So there we go. And then lastly, we have the shade Why Not. And there goes Why Not. So it's a really pretty collection, honestly, of those three. And I'm not quite sure if this is... Actually, no. Okay, so lied. So the lip glosses will come in 14 shades. Lipsticks will come in 12 shades. And then lastly, we have the Color Idol Satin Lipsticks. So here are the 4 they sent. My name. So Prodigy is like a gorgeous brown metallic... Not saying a metallic lipstick because it's not really... It won't really have a metallic finish, but it does have metallic specks in the lipstick. So here's the shade Prodigy. Oh, I love that. Here's the shade Mad Money. You guys, I don't think I've ever used a green lipstick, but I'm feeling inspired, so I just may go ahead and create a look with it. Okay, so there is the shade Mad Money. Okay, then we have the shade Maroon. Okay, it looks like this. Okay, so there's the shade Marooned. And these definitely aren't matte finishes, if anyone's wondering. They're definitely not matte finishes. Okay, and then lastly, we have the shade Charms, which is a really pretty purple. Wow, the color on these, you guys, are insane. So here's the shade Charms. Okay, so just so you guys know, the Color Idol Satin Lipsticks will range from $6.92 to $9.49. Actually, scratch that. All the lipsticks will range from the same price. So they'll be priced from $6.92 to $9.49. Okay, and then last up, we have the face section, and this is probably what I'm most excited about because you guys know I love finding a good drugstore concealer, a good drugstore powder, and a good drugstore foundation. One thing I will say that I really do like just off the bat is packaging. Okay, so the packaging looks like this, which I really like. I believe this is like a glass container and it has an acrylic top to it. It does come with a pump. You guys know I love foundations that come with a pump. Now, this foundation, where's the card for it? Okay, so this foundation claims to be a new transfer-resistant long-wear formula with buildable coverage to hide pores, imperfections, and keep shine controlled all day. It offers a natural matte finish using less than or greater than 5% mattifying powders to help absorb oil and blur pores. Okay, so that's the foundation. We also have the concealers here, which I can't wait to try out. It looks like this. And I'll just swatch it for you guys really quickly. Oh no, it's too dark, but can you guys see that? This one's like almost darn near my skin tone. Okay, this is the shade Medium Tan. I can't really see the coverage on these. Okay, so here's a better look at the shade Medium Tan. Here's Tan Deep Golden. Again, a little bit too dark for me to use for hiding, but still a good shade for girls with deeper skin tones. Ooh, this Deep Cool will look really good on my deeper skin babes. So here's Deep Cool. Wow. Okay, I like that. Here's the shade Tan Cool. Okay, can you guys see this one? But obviously it's like basically blending into my skin tone as well. It also is definitely, because it says it's called Tan Cool, so it definitely has a very cool undertone, meaning that it has a little bit of that gray undertone. And that I'm not a fan of, but then again, I'm sure someone can use it. It's just, as far as for my skin tone, it doesn't work for me. Okay, and there's a shade Light Medium Neutral. So as far as shades go, I either use this one up here or this one right there. Okay, we're almost done, you guys. So that's the concealer. Now we have the All Day Powder Foundations, the Matte Ambition Foundation Powders. It comes in a really nice compact square container. It is plastic. And just pulling out the first one on top, which is a really good deep shade, which I like. And the powder claims to be a buildable one-step powder foundation that delivers long-lasting, natural-looking full coverage while reducing the appearance of oily-looking shine, and it's available in 12 shades. So here's the shade Deep Cool. Obviously not my skin tone, but it is really nice and chocolate. So like here's the lightest one they have. I believe this is the shade Light Neutral. So again, we'll play around with it and see what works and what doesn't. But just so you guys can kind of get an idea of what face products they offer now. Guys want to see they have a really nice range. They also have a primer. I don't know where that went. Oh, here it goes. They have the full spectrum Covergirl Matte Ambition Mattifying Skin Primer, and it has SPF 20 in it, so I'll definitely use this today. And then last but not least, I have a few palettes for the face. So here is the Covergirl Contour and Correct Cream Palette, which is, you guys, how often do you guys find cream palettes in the drugstore? So here is the cream palette which I am loving this because this is going to be really good for spot correcting. So if you have dark spots, dark circles, you know, anywhere you really want to spot treat and correct, this is going to be really good for that. Okay, I also have the CoverGirl Full Spectrum Sculpt Expert Versatile Cheek Palette. And this is for your cheeks, so you have your hiders, and your contour bronzer, which I like. They thought of everything in this collection. Like, they thought of literally everything. Oh, here's another, okay, so I guess that it comes in different shades. So here's another one of the cheek palettes. But this one has your hiders and a shimmer blush. Alrighty, so that is the entire collection. So as you guys see, they have quite a bit of stuff to offer for us brown girls, which I'm excited about. So again, let's play around on it and see how it works and how it holds up. Okay, so just to hop right into it, I'm going to go ahead and just first start off with my face and then do the eyes last, because I'm not quite sure what I want to do there yet. So first up, I'm going to take the Full Spectrum CoverGirl Matte Ambition Mattifying Skin Primer. Oh, wow. Okay, wow. I was not expecting that at all. Just applying this all over. So as y'all can see, it's definitely more on the liquidy side. Okay, so just first impressions of this mattifying primer. I'm actually pretty sure it won't mattify much, only because just in my experience, I have found that the best mattifying primers actually instantly mattify your skin. So like once you apply it, the ones that I tend to like, once you apply, they kind of dry up a little bit and kind of create more of a barrier to really hold in that oil. And this one here does not do that at all. It's actually kind of like a lotion, and it's not really mattifying my skin like at all. I don't have too much faith in this primer. Okay, so as far as finding my shade goes, okay, here's the shade Tan Golden, and it's obviously it's a little bit too light, One thing I do notice is that of course they do have different undertones in the name. The undertone is in the name of the product, which I really like. So like this one here is deep neutral, this one here is Tan Golden, there's a deep cool. So you kind of know that they have, you know, golden undertones, neutral undertones, cool undertones, you know, so it should be easier to find your shade if you know what to look for. Okay, here's the shade Deep Cool 1. Just a little bit too deep. Maybe this is it. Deep Golden 1 may be my shade. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Now, one thing I just noticed, and this could be me being very picky, okay? And granted, I understand that Multicultural, you know, is a very wide range of women. Like, you know, Multicultural can be Latino, it could be Pacific Islander, it can be Asian. Like I totally get that. However, just so you guys are aware, although it is, and this is for women of color, like, you know, people who look like me, although it is 20 shades, within those 20 shades, only half of those are actually for women of color. Okay, so here's 10. And all 10 of these are obviously for women with light complexions. And like I said, I get it because Multicultural, again, spans a wide range of women. It's just that in my opinion, I feel like women in the shade range already have many options. So I just wish that they had maybe taken a few more of these shades and made them, you know, for our skin tones. However, these 10 here may very well may be all that we need and may, you know, fit most of us. So I'm not complaining. It's just more so an observation. You guys get me? Here is the shades for women of color. So as you can see, it's definitely very different undertones, very different colors and shade ranges. So that's good. Okay, just applying deep golden to the back of my hand. Applying this all over. I like that it's not too liquidy at all, which is good. It's not really runny. I'm gonna take my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. Just buff this in. And I'm pretty sure I just applied way too much, because I feel like this is kind of less is more, you know? So just to be aware, I'm pretty sure I applied way too much. Okay. Blending out well. Coverage looks good. So far, I am pleased. You guys, I'm liking it so far. I feel like the shade is a smidget too dark for my normal foundation shade. But once I hide and contour and all that, it'll definitely, you won't even be able to tell. Now I'm going to assume that it'll dry matte because it is a matte ambition foundation. So I assume that it will dry matte. Whenever you first apply it, it has a bit of a semi-matte finish. So I wonder if it'll dry completely matte or if this is kind of how it'll stay. Okay, so one thing I like about this so far is that even though it is a mattifying foundation, it doesn't apply thick or cakey. It looks like skin. It looks so good. Like, I'm actually wowed by the finish of it just from first impressions, because it gave me a really nice even coverage, but it doesn't look like I have anything on, if that makes sense. Now, as far as their claim to hide pores, that's not true. I don't even know why they included that. And again, it could have been the primer I used, their primer. Maybe that's what I shouldn't use, but as far as my pores are definitely still there. But I do agree the coverage is buildable. I'd say like medium to full coverage. Okay, so next up is going to be the concealer. I threw the little cases away, and honestly, I wish that these actually had the name on them, but they don't. So I'm taking this light one here and applying this where I normally highlight. And just first impressions, these concealers are definitely very creamy. And this shade here is just a bit too light, so I'm gonna take this color here, whichever color this is, and apply this on top to tone it down. And this color here has a little bit more golden in it. Okay, let's go ahead and just blend this out. Uh-oh. Okay. Concealer, I'm not loving. And it's because, I don't know if you guys can tell in the camera, but the concealer is not full coverage. And you guys know I can always tell by if it covers up my spots that I have under here. And I applied 2 layers of concealer and it didn't cover it up. So that's interesting. I'm not too pleased with that. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more on this side to see if that fixes it. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, concealer I'm not impressed with. I feel like it looks good whenever you apply it, but like once you go to blend it out, I feel like the product lifts too easily and it doesn't really give much coverage, if that makes sense. But the thing is that, again, I have those dark spots right there. So if you have perfect skin and you don't really have anything going on, you know, in those areas, you should be fine. Okay, yeah, so concealer for me, in my opinion, is, for me, I'm going to pass on the concealer. I just don't care much for it. Okay. Another thing I noticed is that this foundation is not layer friendly at all. So I've layered on, what, 2 or 3 layers. And right now, under here, it's like clumping up right there. I don't know what is going on. So concealer is just a pass. I won't even try that. I'm not going to leave it alone. I just passed that and just make it work for now, but I won't be using it again. I'm just being completely real, you guys. I probably won't use it again. Okay, so I went ahead and said that. Hopefully, you know, baking it will brighten it up just a little bit. But concealers, as far as for hiding, I'm not a fan at all. Oh, dang it. I meant to try out the cream, you know, what was it? The Cream Correct and Conceal palette. I meant to try that out, but I'll try it out next time just to, you know, give you guys an idea of how it works. I'm going to try to attempt to cream contour. Try, keywords. But I feel like I don't really need to, because my foundation is already a little bit darker than, you know, my body. So I feel like I don't really have to do too much bronzing and contouring. But just to try it out. Okay, it's adding some warmth there. Okay, I think this is my shade right here. This is the shade Tan Deep Cool. So I'm going to try to apply this. See what happens. Okay, not too bad. I'm going to also go with a darker shade. I might take this. No, that's too dark. I may go with this one here. This is Deep Cool 3. And then just use this to bronze up and warm up the skin. Not that I really need much warming up, but you guys get the gist. So I definitely feel like that foundation shade for me was a little bit too dark. Next time I definitely mixed together, I believe it was Tan Golden with that shade Deep Golden. Mix them together to get my exact shade, which you guys know I don't like mixing foundations. I actually hate mixing foundations, but because this shade range does not have my exact skin color, but I do love the finish of it and just the way it looks on my skin, I don't mind mixing for that. So again, I'd mix the shade Tan Golden with the shade Deep Golden. Gonna now go in with the Sculpt Expert Versatile Cheek Palette. So I thought at first that this one right here was actually a matte shade, but it's not. It is a shimmer shade, so we'll see how this works. I don't really use shimmer on my cheekbones, and just applying this reminds me why I don't apply metallic or shimmer on my cheekbones. I just don't like it personally. I don't know. Am I just the only one? Like, I do not like shimmer on my cheekbones. I like shimmer right here, but not on my cheekbones. I'm going to take a hotter brush and just apply these, however, on. Whoa. Okay. Wow. Okay. Was not expecting that. But if you guys can't tell, these little hiders, whoa, talk about power. Wow, they're so intense. And one thing I love about these is the fact that they're not powdery. They actually have more of like a velvety finish. Like, they're definitely very nice and smooth, and I like that because they won't get everywhere. But y'all, just look at the power of these. Aside from the foundation, I also really like, not really so much the blush shade, but these two hiders though are insane. Can't forget to contour my nose. Okay, so leaving the face alone for now, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the eyes, and hopefully this look won't be too difficult. Like I said, I have no idea what I want to do, but I definitely want to, you know, show you guys what these palettes are all about. I'm thinking of just going in with this one palette here. This is the Reverence palette. I'm going to go in to this soft brown shade here from that palette. This one here right in the middle. Let's apply this in the crease. I can tell you already, I can barely see some color. I like, it's there, I can see the color, but it's not really showing up much. Maybe it's just that one. Other side, again, popping this into the crease. Next up, I'm going in with this shade here, which is right next to the previous shade. It's like more of a reddish brown. And applying this in that crease as well. And again, with this shade, just like the last one, like, I can see some color, so it's not completely transparent. Like, I can definitely see some color, you know, applying to my crease area. It's just not what I'm used to. Like, I can't really, like, what I see in here is not transferring onto my eye, if that makes sense. So you see, like, it adds some warmth there, just not as much as I'd like. I'm going to go into the Gravity palette here and take this emerald green here in the center. And just apply that into the crease. I don't like this. Guys, I'm trying. Oh, I do not like that at all. Ugh. I'm trying here. I'm really trying. The thing is that the color that I picked up in here, like, this green is not what applied on. You guys see that? Isn't that gray? Now I have to make this eye look like the other eye. I think maybe if I were to apply this all over the lid, it would look a lot better. Yeah. So with that green shade, it's definitely not something to blend out, if that makes sense. Like, this color here only looks good if you apply it and pack it on and swipe it away, as opposed to blending it out, because you guys see, like, right there, it looks really good, you know? But obviously, as you guys just saw, don't even try applying it with the blending brush. The reason I applied it in the crease first with the blending brush is just to kind of help to blend together those browns with this green. So yeah, packing it on, it looks much better. I'm gonna take some of that same reddish brown that I used in the crease at first, and just try to blend out those harsh edges, if I even can. I'm gonna add just a little bit more of that green. I'm not completely disappointed with the shadows, but I'm not impressed with it either. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not really wowed. I'm gonna take some of this matte shade here from that Reverence palette. Pop that the highest points in my brow bone. Then taking this liner here, this is the Full Spectrum CoverGirl Defining Moment Liner in the shade Deep Purple. So applying this. Well, hold on. Let me... smudge this out. And I picked purple underneath my eyes because I feel like the purple would really complement that emerald green, which it does. It looks pretty good. And then going back into that Reverence palette, I'm going to take this really pretty champagne shade there. It's actually more of a rose gold. Ooh, that's pretty. That's really pretty. See, I'm not mad at this neutral palette right here. It's definitely not the same quality as like a high-end palette, but just for like a really cheap travel palette, or like if you're a beginner, this is a really good one to play in. So far, I mean, here's the look, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and actually apply some false lashes off camera and like get myself together. But as far as things that I absolutely loved, the only things that I really just loved were the foundation. I also love the hider. Like, that is popping. For Drugstore, that looks amazing. And I actually would recommend the Reverence palette, but just this one here in particular, the ones that have more of the color to it, I think that they'd be good for like if you wanted to just really play in color and like really create some really fun, funky looks. But as far as usability goes, I feel like this is the only one that I would actually use consistently. The powders are really good as well. The Full Spectrum Matte Ambition powders are pretty good. But again, concealer is a no. And the blush in the Sculpt Expert, what is this, the Versatile Cheek Palette, is a no. Alright guys, so I'm back. I popped on some falsies. Also did my hair, or did what I could with my hair. And also I applied some chestnut liner to my lips to go ahead and prep for the lipstick. And today for lipstick, I'll be using the CoverGirl Full Spectrum lipstick in the shade Prodigy, which was calling my name earlier. That's such a pretty color. I like it. I feel like it took a little work, but I feel like the look came together. I'm loving this. Like, even though you guys saw whenever I applied it and blended it out with a brush, that green shade from the Galaxy palette was not quite working for me. But with it applied all over the lid with my finger, it makes such a huge difference. Alright guys, so here is the final look using all of the new CoverGirl Full Spectrum products. So all in all, pretty good products. I can't wait to try out the Cream Correct and Conceal palette. I'll definitely try that out next time. But again, for the most part, I give it a thumbs up. So hope you guys enjoyed this review and demo using the entire Full Spectrum collection from CoverGirl. I know this was a very lengthy video, but you guys saw they had a lot of products. So hope you guys stayed till the end and enjoyed this video. If you guys did, give it a thumbs up. And also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye guys.